Sid K breathes air. But sometimes I find it very, very difficult to breathe, especially when I see war happening around me. I see loss of lives happening around me. I see videos of people breaking down, crying out loudly because it's destroyed their families, their emotions, everything. That is what we are witnessing around us last couple of months, and history has shown it keeps happening again and again. Why does one go to war is our topic, where Siddharth Kannan, that's me, is in conversation with Atman in Ravi. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? I feel pain when I'm saying this, because we know what's happening around the world right now here. History has shown there's a loss of lives, economic loss, emotional loss, psychological loss. Then why do human beings not learn from this again and again and still go to war? We think that war is an uncivilized thing of the past, don't we? We think that wars, they used to be there. You are surprised when you see in the news, there's a war happening today. But why? Everybody at war thinks they are right. So who is right? If there is one group that goes into another group's territory and kills, they think it is my right. I will attack, I will kill. And the other group who is killed, they think you came and attacked, I will destroy you, I will kill you. Who is right? Who is wrong? This is not the question at all. Everybody at war is wrong. Everybody at war is wrong. Because war has no positive benefits. What is the cause of war? The cause of war is the ego. The ego that says I. The ego that divides you and me as two different beings. The ego that is caused out of ignorance. As long as we are ignorant, as long as we don't realize the truth, war will continue. There will be more war. Because we human beings, we live with greed. We want more. We want name. We want power. We want money. We want control. Why? Why is it that we go to war? We go to war because of ignorance. We go to war because the ego is born out of ignorance. What is yours? What are you going to take with you? Ultimately, you kill, you destroy. You think you achieve something. What you achieve is not belong to you. What you achieve will never belong to you. But this ignorance that causes the ego takes us to war. Nobody likes war. Nobody likes killing. In fact, some people are killing in the name of God, in the name of religion. It's ignorance. No religion in the world actually encourages killing. It is a misinterpretation. So therefore, Sid, this war can only end. There can be world peace if people realize one simple truth, that you and me may appear to be two separate bodies, but in reality we are one soul. Your soul, your spark of unique life, S-O-U-L, my soul, appears to be your soul and my soul. But in reality, we come from one power, one Sip, one supreme immortal power. This realization that we are all one will end war. This is the only solution for world peace. World peace is possible. I'm going to ask you a question. One group is killing another group, yes or no?
Yes.
You see it all the time?
Yes.
Have you ever found your right leg kicking your left leg? Does your right leg kick your left leg?
Never.
Does your right hand hit your left hand?
Never.
Or your right eye is jealous of your left eye?
Never.
Why not?
Because you feel that this is a part of me.
Exactly. You feel this and this are not two. This is one. This is me. This and this is one. This and this is one. But when we are going to war, we think, I will kill you. The ego creates you and me. The ego creates the difference. The ego creates anger, hate, revenge, jealousy in our day-to-day life. This escalates into war. If there has to be peace, first there must be peace in a house. In homes, there is no peace. There is war between father and son. There is war between brothers. There are war in homes. That war in the house escalates to war in a community, escalates to war inside a region and country, and then becomes a world war. And this will not change till we are enlightened.
There are two emotions, patriotism and nationalism. It's deeply rooted in our system. But that also pushes us to war, right? How does one know where to draw the line with nationalism and patriotism?
Patriotism and nationalism must be put aside. It looks like patriotism is a positive quality. But if my patriotism and your patriotism can create war, do you think it's positive? If your nationalism and my nationalism, each one is saying, my nation is better. People are saying, my religion is better. Let us talk about religion. Today there are wars in the world because of religion, correct? There's so much war because of religion. People of one religion are fighting people of another religion. Both religions are based out of God. How can you kill in the name of God? Because you say, my God is superior and your God is superior. How can there be different gods which are superior? There's one God. You may look at God from your perspective. I may look at God from my perspective, but there are no two gods. You think up in the skies there are many, many gods? This is a myth. We all know it. Therefore, we have to do away. The only way to end the war, this patriotism you spoke about, the nationalism you spoke of, it's okay as long as we have reverence and respect for other human beings. If we do not respect another human being, the solution is this: to see every human being as God. To see every human being as a manifestation of God. Will you kill God?
Never.
Will you take a gun? Will you take what we're seeing these tanks on the TV? We are seeing tanks going to kill people. How could you do it? But the answer is, we are taking tanks to kill those people because those people came and killed our people. Where is it going to end? What is that world famous quote? An eye for an eye will only make this world blind. We are only going to destroy. We are only going to create chaos. We are going to create misery and pain. We don't need, therefore, political leaders and religious leaders who are causing war. We need spiritual leaders. We need spiritual leaders who can create peace. The solution is peace. That's the only way to end war.
That's a very solid statement where you actually said that we need spiritual leaders, not political leaders, right? Do you think that democratic countries have less of a chance to go to war as compared to countries which have dictatorship?
No doubt that dictators go to war easier because the dictator can make his decision even against the will of the people. But what is happening in democracies? The democracies elect a leader. Once you elect the leader can go to war. Therefore, in reality, it's not so different. In a dictatorship, it is arbitrary. They just go to war. And the people are like sheep. They are just like worms that are crawling. They have no say in the matter. In a democracy, people can object. People can raise their voice. There can be a referendum. That is the difference. But as long as people are incited by the ego, I will kill you, war will happen.
Religion was something people related to, most of them. Religion was supposed to be for inner peace. Religion was supposed to be for showing you the path, a belief system you can give it various definitions. But now, religion is being spoken about in a negative light because people are saying, religion, it leads to war. It divides people. Do you think people are slowly losing faith in religion also?
Of course, many people who are practical today are starting to question religion. In the past, it was blasphemous to question religion. You could not question. But today, because of the social media, people are questioning religion. It was earlier very difficult because if you raised your voice to question religion, your neck would be chopped. Now you can raise your voice and your neck will not be chopped off because you are going to be heard by people. And then the religions are becoming aware about this, that there's a public opinion. All religions are good. All religions teach us to pray to God. They teach us to have a personal God. Just like all kindergartens are good. They teach us A, B, C, D in English or French or Arabic or any language. It's an education. But don't we grow beyond kindergarten? We go beyond kindergarten and we go to college and university. But in religion, we remain in religion for all our life. We think this is my God and that is your God. And then we fight each other for the name of God. We need to evolve from the kindergarten of religion to the university of spirituality. This is important. Sid, there was a story. There's a story of a 6-inch mud elephant fighting with a 12-inch mud horse. The 12-inch mud horse tells the 6-inch mud elephant, "Hey, you elephant, I'm bigger than you. Shut up, you." The elephant turns around and tells the mud horse, you're just a horse. I can trample you. I'm an elephant. These two were having a war. And then you know what happened?
What?
In the poetry I say, कहानी दो पुतलों की एक हाथी एक घोड़ा, कहानी दो पुतलों की एक हाथी एक घोड़ा, मिट्टी के दोनों बने पर लड़ाई कौन बड़ा, हाथी कहे मैं बड़ा, घोड़ा कहे मैं बड़ा, हाथी कहे मैं बड़ा, घोड़ा कहे मैं बड़ा, पानी में डाला मिट्टी है दोनों फर्क नहीं थोड़ा. The potter came, the potter took the elephant, the potter took the horse and put them in the water and both became mud. They were both made of clay. We all will die. Why don't we realize that this war is only premature death? Why can't we find out the purpose of our existence? Why don't we realize इंसान में ही भगवान है, भगवान में ही आसमान में है, कण कण में प्रभु की शक्ति ही है, हर जीव में भगवान है. If only we realize कि इंसान ही भगवान है, where will there be war? Man is a manifestation of God. Man appears to be man, but man is God. But because of religion, mostly, it can also because of patriotism and nationalism, that we want to fight, we want power. Who wants power? The ego. What is the ego? It is an illusion, it is ignorance, avidya. This is the problem.
I'm sure everyone's disturbed with what's happening around of late as well. I have so many people in the audience. I know they must be fighting inner conflicts as well. Even though we are not involved with the war, we psychologically and emotionally get affected seeing other people going through what they do, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Any questions?
I have a question. As you rightly said, it is all because of ignorance. That means it is only the intelligence. If it is not properly taken care of, this chaos and war will always remain. The question is, everybody is born with its own, what you call DNA of intelligence. Nobody is intellectually equal. So, unless that one element, as we say in Advaita, that Advaita can only remove war because that intellect has to click. But as long as duality is perceived, war is a natural thing, whether it is animal or human being. And we hear stories in Puranas where gods also are fighting. So intelligence is the main cause according to me. And that intelligence, if it is not used to perceive that SIP only is, I think this question of war has got no solution. In fact, that's how SIP wants to reset the cycle. Every time when man doesn't use his agami karma, to use, because there is a two, as we rightly always say, it is prarabdha and agami that makes your destiny. But as long as this agami karma is not performed with proper intellect, with proper and you don't go towards removal of ignorance. The question is, as long as because human being is the only species which is having intellect on this planet. Now, if that intellect is not addressed by whoever is the leader, preacher or guru, and you don't bring people to this realization, everything is one, as we rightly said, that ignorance, if it doesn't go, I think the solution to war was never there and will never come.
So, very interesting point he said. He said that unless man realizes that he is an intelligent being, war will continue. And he mentioned about man being different from an animal. Let us take this. Does a tiger feel bad eating a deer? A tiger doesn't feel bad. Every day in our home, you will find a lizard. It's catching worms, flies, and eating. We human beings have some compassion and we feel some reverence for life. Many of us. We somehow respect life or killing, war, bloodshed, because a human being has got a fully developed intellect. Other species don't have. Animals don't have it. Therefore, animals will always keep killing each other. You look at the animal world, you look at the jungle. That's why they call it the law of the jungle. Might is right. The law of the jungle is, if I'm mightier than you, I can kill you. But in civilized societies, that's not true. In a civilized society, a human being has to respect another human being's life. But when man becomes an animal, he becomes inhuman. He loses compassion. He loses the ability to use his intelligence, his intellect, his buddhi, his vivek to decide. And therefore, the word came Advaita. If you may call it the only way to world peace. Some people call it brotherhood. What is brotherhood? It's there in several scriptures. It's there in the Bible. It's there probably in several scriptures that we must treat each other with respect. But why? Because each one of us has a temple of God inside us. Your heart that is beating because there is a God element that is creating that energy. There is no battery. There is no UPS. There is no cord. It is the power of God, the SIP, the supreme immortal power inside you. As long as man doesn't realize that God is in every human being, he can take a gun and kill. Therefore, this intelligence, this compassion, this realization must come.
There is economic interest, territorial expansion, resource scarcity, which is leading to war. How do political leaders, knowing the repercussions, come to a point amongst each other and say no war? They can't. They can't.
As long as they are political leaders, they can't. Unless the political leaders develop a spiritual paradigm. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the science of the spirit. As long as you are an army general, as long as you're a political leader, you will try to please the masses. You will incite them. You will raise their patriotism. You're talking about war. We have a war in a stadium. When there are two countries having a match, you can see the warring in their emotions. Don't you see it? It starts there. We have to eliminate hate. We have to keep hate out of the gate. As long as you don't keep hate out of the gate, it will be too late. There will be war, and we will lose valuable lives, and we will lose everything. Are you seeing what's happening on the television? Can you believe it? Intelligent human beings destroying buildings, killing lives, bombarding, grenades, guns. But it's true. It's happening. Because this world has lost its spiritual sense. We have forgotten God. We have forgotten ethics. We have forgotten values. We have forgotten morals. We have forgotten compassion. We have to make peace a priority. And unless spiritual leaders rule, if there are only political and economic leaders and political leaders, religious leaders, they are hopeless.
I've got Shruti Chadda from Varanasi who'd written to me on my Instagram asking you this. How do psychological factors like fear, anger, and a desire for revenge contribute to the decision to go to war? Do you think people in power should seek therapy because they are in constant stress and fear? And in situations like these, does one need to have a very calm mind?
The mind is the main cause of war. Mind reacts to feelings. So therefore, our attitude is what I called RDX. RDX attitude, you know RDX, it's an explosive called RDX. But I call RDX, we react, we destroy, we explode. RDX in my language is we react, we destroy, we explode. There is no RDR. Respond, don't react. War is all a matter of reaction. A matter of reaction because the mind is constantly reacting. You kill me, I'll kill you. You came 10 people, I'll send 100 people. What is the end? People are afraid today there may be a world war. Because what happens is it's expanding. One country supporting another country and the opposite side getting support from other countries. It's a very explosive situation. And unless there is sense, unless there is calm, unless there is intelligence, this situation can just go out of hand. Because both the warring factions think, I am right. The ego says, I am right. The other ego says, I am right. Who is here to justify who's right?
I'm going to ask you specifically the Israel situation that we see. How can one end that?
There has to be a commitment of world leaders for peace. There has to be a commitment from world leaders to find a way. For example, you can put sanctions and force people to stop war. War is not a solution to stop war. You have to find, and this can only happen when intelligent leaders get together and there is a world judiciary, a judiciary amongst world leaders who make decisions. In a civilized society like today, there should be no compromise to any kind of attacks. No means no. Every human being has a right to live. And therefore, it is our duty to respect that right to live. And world leaders must keep this as their priority. Not to encourage war. It is very easy to encourage war. You bring 10 airplanes, I'll bring 100 airplanes. You bring 10 ships, I'll bring 100. Where is it going to end? You're talking, what about the Ukraine-Russia war? We thought it will be over in weeks. It's never ending. It's creating loss to beyond proportions. When are we going to wake up? When are we going to do something productive? We are so busy in doing things that are destructive. When will leaders understand that we need to be productive, not destructive?
All right, I've got a message from Matthew Verghese from Cochin. And he says, AiR do internal factors such as authoritarian regimes, human rights abuses, and civil unrest contribute to the decision to go to war?
Yes. All these factors are inciting the ego. Finally, the cause of the ego, cause of the war, finally the cause of the war is I and you. As long as there's I and there is you, there will be war. If there is no I and you, if it is we, then there is no war. If I am ready to say that I want your happiness, then there will be no war. If all the time my looking at you saying, I want my happiness, I don't care about your unhappiness. And the only way to stop these factors we spoke about, these factors are caused because of ignorance, because of the realization that we are not these bodies that we wear. This body will die, but we are the soul that wears the body. That's why in the Indian scriptures, the Sanatana Dharma, they talk about this whole world being one family. This world is one family. But if we all behave like we are one family, then we will talk to each other. We will not kill each other.
We are hearing proxy wars, right? Where powerful bodies support opposing sides. They play it around. For their own vested interests, they get involved, sometimes escalate the war more than stopping the war.
All these are because of selfish interests. A person who is a general or an army or a political or a leader is trying to be powerful. I am the leader of the world. Is the person who is at war even thinking that there are so many people who are dying and each person is a temple of God? Is that person not able to realize? It may be the leader of Russia, for example, thinking that he's the most powerful man in the world. But when will he stop and use his intelligence to realize, what am I doing? Is it right? There is no justification to war. There is absolutely no justification. There can be a resolution to a conflict, but war is not the way. The way to resolve a conflict is arbitration. Conflict will only increase the war, or rather the wars will only increase the conflicts.
I'm part of the media world, apolitical in my approach, but media and propaganda is all over the place. Where media and propaganda leads to people justifying wars, giving a reason to that, and sometimes tilting people's opinion to the other side, which could be wrong. Again, wrong or right is ambiguous. How does media, these propagandas stop? How can we stop it?
As long as media is part of the greed, it cannot stop. We know today all media are aligned with one of the factions. So sometimes media houses are bought over by a faction. Therefore, they are puppets in the hand of the faction. That's why you find very rare media houses which give a neutral opinion. You can watch a media and you can say they are either leftist or rightist. You can watch the media and in a matter of moments, you know. It's very funny. But if you look at the social media today, and you look at, for example, the Israel and the Hamas war, there is the Israel media which says the Hamas came and they killed, they butchered people. Now this is the media of the Israel. Now if you look at the Hamas media, they say After decades of exploitation, the Hamas finally protect themselves. Both of them have their opinions. I'm saying, I'm not trying to justify who is right and who is wrong. I'm just saying that war is wrong. And we need peace.
And I hope each one of you find a lot of peace while watching our show as well. Like AiR says, no war. The only solution to not having a war is peace. Thank you so much for being a part of Sid K Breathes AiR, Siddharth Kannan in conversation with AiR. Remember everyone, it's your topics, your voice. We're just answering your questions. So remember, please write to me on my Instagram handle here. You can write to AiR, follow him on his Instagram and YouTube channel. You've got the handles there. Subscribe there, follow him as well. Our endeavor is to join hands and bring positivity in this world and address everything that is making you think and solving your problems, your dilemmas, and hopefully showing you the right path. Sid K Breathes AiR. See you next time. Bye.